busy, we are busy people. And so we really, over this next hour or so, really want to give you content that's really going to be of value and to help you to grow. And I'm so thankful for Cami. This has really been her vision. And so I'm going to let her explain a little bit more. But thank you again so much for joining us.
Yes. Yeah, we're very honored to have so many from our Enagic Web System join us. Darryl and Rob being here right now, and we heard that Jeff will also be with us, right? Um, Darryl Prusak is the co-founder of EWS and content development director. Did I say that wrong? But before we go in there, like Sharon said, the title of our umbrella series of meetings on Zoom is Going Back to Basics. And why going back to basics? Well, we realize that there are times we forget where we came from or where we started, and often in the busyness of moving up in the system or in our businesses, we forget the little things that we need to impart to others so that they can also be successful in their Enagic business or in the way they do have their relationships built. Because again, like we say, we are in compassion mission is what we have within Enagic, and our business is multi-level marketing. We're not in MLM. We're say multi-point marketing. Sorry, excuse me about that. So I thought, 2021 new year, we just entered a new era, and going back to basics in terms of administrative stuff, like all the tools on Enagic Web System, policies and procedures, the tax advantages, comp plan overview, 8-point system, all these things. When new distributors or potential distributors are not informed properly about all these things, this is pretty much the Bible of the business, knowing at least be familiar with those things so they can navigate the waters properly. And many of us, myself included, Betty too, started off with the business with like, oh, okay, what do I do now? What's next and all that stuff. So from step A to step B or step A to step G, we want to show you where to start. And so that's why sorry, I'm so excited. Going back to basics. And tonight we're concentrating on Enagic Web System. That's why we have our very own Darryl Prusak as well as Rob Miller. Allow me, though, to introduce a lady from London while we're waiting for a few more people to feature her. And her name is Lydia Bindari. She is formerly from Congo, living in London. And the reason we thought of featuring her as our icebreaker, like we call it, while we're waiting for people, is she has developed her business and moved up to 4A, right? 4A, all on her own. Without too much ado, let me introduce you and let's have Esther speak for herself what she has done, so maybe we can learn from her. Not just maybe, but we will learn from her. Lydia, it's all yours, dear.
Uh, Happy New Year, everyone. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Neil and Camille for the opportunity to share my story. It's true, Kangen water changed lives. When I came to contact with Kangen machine, I was told by a colleague, and then I bought the machine. After I bought the machine, I saw a change in my family. Then I decided to share. My journey, like Kami say, all alone, but that has brought me to become 4A. So what I did, the first thing was to learn about the product and then to share, because I had the passion, compassion, and love for other people. When I see how people are struggling with life, with health problem, and I work in a health sector. So I saw the virtue in Kangen water. So I couldn't keep quiet. And then I started sharing the water. Most of my customers, they didn't buy the machine at the first time because I didn't tell them the price or about the machine. I was sharing water first. I'll give them water to try. When they drink the water and the water does something in their life, and they come back to me to find out, what is this water? Can you tell me about it? Then I'll start explaining, and then they end up buying the machine. And then those who bought the machine, now they want to know more about it and share as well, because I was sharing my vision, which is to change lives. So I was no more in money. I always tell my team, I've got a big team. My team's name is Anointed Team. So I've shared the vision to change lives, to share the love of God to other people by sharing water, because Kangen water is like a tool which has been given out to us by Enagic to change other people's lives. So that has brought us to go miles away. We can travel all day to go to visit a family. Now, because of lockdown, we can't do that anymore. We can just do that local. But before lockdown, me, my husband, and my children would travel miles away to go and share the water with a family, two family, three family. We just leave water to them. When we come back to our house, after 1 or 2 days, they will call us back to find out how they can have their own machine in their own house. So little by little, I started building up my team. Today I'm 4A. I've got 3A in my team, 2A, 1As in my team. And what I do with my team also, I help them to grow. So I don't just work for myself, but I help my team as well. So we can go together. I share how they can build up their own team as well, and we work as one. So
Nice.
that's my secret. And also there's another one. My vision was like to put God first. So I told them that success doesn't come just like that. There must be something. So on our own, we can be successful. For me, I know that success comes from God. So I asked them to pray for the business. We pray for people who will be drinking Kangen water, so that the mighty hand of God can touch them through the water, and then they can see something happen in their life. We say, change your water, change your lives, and we've seen so many testimonies, so many testimonies. In my house, my husband was sick for years, sciatic nerve problem, but when we had Kangen water in our house, after 2 weeks, that changed everything. My little one had constipation, Kangen water changed it. And then that's what we bring our own story to other people. And we tell them, don't take our story, you need your own story. Try the water,
Right.
and then tell us what the water has done to you. So it's more powerful when you can share what the water has done to you. I can share someone else's testimony that will not impact people. So I share my testimony and I help other people to get to know and try the water, and they end up sharing their own testimony. That's my passion, not only to change life, like with health, but also financially. I've got so many testimony, and this business has given me so many family members, and I think you are my new family members as well. I'm so happy to be with you in this platform. I'm so excited, and I know that we are going somewhere. I don't know if you have any other question.
Well, you're a lady, that I love so much, and that's why I wanted you to share your story with us, because you went the traditional way. What Mr. Oshir has always told us, you share the water will speak for itself, right? That's what I learned from the get-go, is the water is the lifeblood. Sharing the water is the lifeblood of our business. Without sharing it, it's really a little bit more difficult, no? So I love that you shared that you depend on God in your business too, and that you grow your team. And that's what we're trying also to convey in this Back to Basics series of Zoom meetings. So if anyone has a question for Lydia, please, this is the time. And otherwise, Sharon, it's yours again.
I want to add something very important. You know, sometimes we miss, I can tell a new distributor out there who is listening to us, you may wonder how those people are 6A, some people are 4A. When you do your business, there is a secret. Don't go to look for money. Go to change lives. When someone find a life changed, it's gonna be easy for them to open their wallets and share their money with you because you get the commission. When you go to sell, they will not buy. No one like to spend money. I have another testimony, recent testimony, because I don't keep quiet. Everywhere I find myself, when there is a conversation, I have to find my way to introduce Kangen water. So the way I introduce it just touched someone. One of the colleagues, it was the first time she met me. She told me something which touched me. She said, you know what? I'll buy Kangen machine from you. You know why I'm telling you that? I know about Kangen water, but I never like to buy it because the person who brought that news to me pushed me to buy, and I don't like it. I don't answer our phone anymore. But since I've seen you, I've met you, you never ask me to buy. You always give me water. You always share the goodness of water without even telling me about the price, without even telling me how I can get my own machine. You are just focused on my health and my family's health. So that's giving me the desire now to buy because I can see that Kangen water is good for me. So I don't see you looking to get money from me. I can see your desire to change my life. That was really, really good for me. It was a big lesson I learned once again, and I wanted to share with all of us that when you go to customers, don't go to look for the commission or look to sell to them. Go to change their lives. Bring them information. When you bring them knowledge, knowledge will open their mind, they get understanding. Once they understand the value, they will open their heart and they will buy and they will join the business and they will get even the same attitude, the same vision to go out there to change other people's lives and share the word of others. So that's what I
Amen.
wanted to say. Yes.
Amen.
Amen.
I think you just summed it all up right there. I mean, we're not in the
That's
business of selling, we're in the business of serving. And you think of Mr. Oshira's, his statement of this is a mission of compassion. And if we keep that in the spirit of exactly what she was sharing, that it's all about serving and giving and caring, people's hearts are just going to open and they're going to be able to receive. So thank you. That was beautiful. I don't think any of us could have said it any better than that. So thank you so much. So next we have Betty. Betty is going to talk a little bit about the tax advantages of Enagic and remembering it for our own selves, especially as tax season is quickly approaching, and to remind our customers and distributors too about all the amazing benefits and write-offs. So Betty, welcome today.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, that was an amazing story, Esther. Thank you for sharing. And Sharon, thank you so much for getting me on here. And yeah, so great to see all of you guys. And as Esther was saying, we share from compassion. And when you don't focus on the money, the 10 times folds that we do get back is full of abundance, right? So I've been honored to been doing this for 8 years now and happily doing my own taxes and getting all the great benefits because we're able to be part of a company that allows us to have not just health benefits, but financial health, right? And the benefits for it. So I'll go dig in right ahead and get started. And I have a few of my current friends and families also joining on. So I'll do a little greeting. Halage tope ko ga deno namile tabli akudo mazi hekwata ni nyai ne the kamaste na tilan kada se pagmima zoom de pakete sakor kadagi no. So tabli do mazi hekwa ko namile ti nyai de pela inagic. Okay, so we do have a few tax preparer that are on Enagic, not only distributors, but they're drinking the water and they're also tax preparer. And my favorite, and that's been so much helpful to us, is that her name is, and Cami, help me if I chop it up, Brenda Espiosa
Es,
Smith.
Brenda Escorpizo Smith. That's all right. It's all good.
Thank you. And I've spoken to her on the phone too a couple times because when she started writing this book back in 2007, I was able to buy a whole bunch from her and also, pass it down to my downlines because she literally wrote a book back to back to back, and it's still usable. I mean, everything is still legitimately by law available to today. So she has, it's a very thin book, maybe about like 5 pages, I think. I've used this to do my taxes, my mom taxes. Auntie and Cami also has helped me by just using this book. We've able to educate ourselves and IRS approved. So how wonderful is that, guys? So being part of Enagic is not only for drinking the healthy water, but knowing that we can have the benefit back. But remember, when you do these, remember to choose the right tax preparer, or when you're doing it yourself, reach out to Brenda or reach out to someone who's been doing it themselves. And because not everybody's in the same bracket, okay? So that's one thing I have to explain a lot in my culture because they think we're all the same. So we're also so everybody's in a different brackets, but having one of these tax books, okay, it will save you time and or also give you a direction what to write off and how to write off. For example, for me, mileages on my car is very important because like Esther is saying, we love to travel to families home 1 or 2 hours away. It doesn't matter as long as they are willing to hear us and fellowship with us. So mileage is, you can write off a lot. You can get a lot. And there are many different apps. So whether you have an iPhone or Android or any smartphones, there are apps available. Just choose one that is IRS approved because that way you don't have to argue or get audited, right? But it tracks all of your driving. So that way you know exactly how to check off for your business travel or your personal travel. It gives you options. So that way it adds up mileage for you. And it, how do you call, what is the word, Auntie? It calculate the mileage into how much you can write off. So it's really amazing.
Yes.
Matter of fact, one of the best app Auntie Cami suggested to me was the IQ Miles. And maybe Auntie Cami, you can put down the link. I don't know. I don't even have the link anymore. I've been using it for like 3 years now, and they just once the year is over, they just start over again. And it's about $60 a year, and it's a write-off. So things like that, really good. Nowadays, everything is apps available. So miles, home. If you own a home and you right now everybody's working from home, your office, your room that you're using for training, your kitchen that you're using for cooking, square footage are able to be write off. Your homes could be a write-off. So just depending on how many square footage you're actually utilizing just for your business, okay? So that was a huge write-off for me when I was a homeowner. And then also your vehicles, you can actually write off percentage for it if you're using it for work a lot of time, if you're driving the same vehicle as your family car. There's certain ways to write that off. But especially for all your supplies, save all the receipts because there's so many percentage you can take off from just food, gatherings, demos, travels, and I mean, the list goes on. So, but you guys get the idea, right? Having this device at home, one of these devices or a K8 allows you to have all these write-off. And for me, as a single mom, I need as much write-off as possible because government wants to see us to be independent, but they want us to share back with them how we're able to prove that. So having that proof is super important. There are other apps out there that can, you just take a picture of receipts and it saves for you. So like a picture folder, so you don't have to continue saving paper receipt. I think it's more legit because that way paper receipt sometimes fades, right? Or if you can just keep it a nice compartment. I know I'm not very good at that. So, so you know, it's whatever works for you. It just be responsible for that part because it's huge benefit when you're able to get it done. And then also, don't just go to like a normal facility, like tax facility, because they are going to just do your basic. They're very basic tax preparers, so they don't understand these things. You can even go in and walk in with one of these, and they will be like, "What is that?" So please choose your tax preparer wisely. I would say most really knowledgeable, like Brenda or lawyer tax preparer, they charge by the hour. It may sound expensive, but if you prepare everything for them ahead of time, they just do the, you know, submitting. It's less than an hour. You're spending less than like $500, and you're probably going to write off tens and thousands of dollars. Is going to save your butt. So doing the math, it's, oh, what happened?
Uh-oh.
What happened? Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Do that math is very important. So you can write off taxes, anything from personal care, personal self. So of course, percentage, certain percentage goes toward that. You guys know that, right? Everything goes on your body. You are the presenter. You are the superstar. You are the famous water drinker, water specialist. So just make sure, like I said again, to write off, to find the right tax preparer. So that is most important. Then the last but not least, travel. I love this part. I love taking my children on airplane rides and everywhere I can go. Before 2020, we were living in the airport. If you see my life, you know, not to be boastful, but just saying we love to travel. And why? I used to thought that only you can travel and have this fun lifestyle is when you're retired or really rich. Well, that was a lie. Let me tell you guys, if you know how to write off your tax the right way, if you know how to have the right vehicle, as in Kangen machine or network that is allowing you to be self sufficient and earn income, you can take a trip anywhere and write it off. Isn't that awesome? Whereas traditional vacation, you go and everything goes. So this being in a network industry and direct sales, guys, this really opened up for someone who's a younger generation who thought, oh, only if I have high education, rich, and retired, I can have this lifestyle. No, obviously I didn't learn enough. I was naive, but being more open-minded and having on the right vehicle and right company at the right time allows you to build that to where you can have that within short period of time. I mean, I started traveling 2 years after, and some people say, well, I don't like traveling. Oh, I'm so sorry for you. Traveling is fun. So anyway, traveling you can write off as long as you're getting your water message out there and you're getting your, you know, sharing that water and talking about the water. So the tax benefit to this, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, families all over the world, it all depends on where country you live. I'm in the USA, okay, and so wherever you live, however your government handles your tax, just do your little investigation and also reach out to people on Facebook, especially other group pages that lives in other country. Ask them how they're doing it. There are Enagic distributors. That has been a huge help for me. And many Enagic distributors are at abundant levels. They are willing to help you and me and share information, right? So again, because we have Darryl and we also have Rob on here, we're gonna get more abundance information from them, and I just can't wait to hear the rest of our meeting. So thank you so much. If you guys have any questions, please keep it very simple. I'm not a tax preparer, but I can just give you ideas and what I've done and how you can, you know, mobile your this time. Thank you.
Nice.
Can you,
Yeah, and just so everybody knows where to get this, 6atools.com. 6atools.com. That's one word. 6atools.com. Brenda. Yeah, 6atools.com. Brenda Escorpizo Smith. Yeah, she'll be very glad to help you with any problems you have with your taxation if you let her know. Thank you.
And
back
Kemi,
to
every
Sharon.
time you talk, you're buzzing. Do anybody else hear her buzzing? Or is it
Yes.
just me?
it's
Yeah.
buzzing.
She's buzzing.
So Auntie Kemi, your microphone is buzzing.
Yeah.
Love you.
Whoa, okay. What am
Call
I
her
doing
out.
wrong? Pull her out?
Hello, I was able to find the Zoom number a little late, and so I was wondering, is there any ways that I can rehear this message?
It's
think I
on a
recall
live.
somebody-
It's streaming on a live, right, Auntie? It's streaming on a live, so she can probably rewatch that or replay. Hatch like a replay. I don't know.
Yes, and I went back to the original one. I had a microphone connected. So anyway, yes, we're streaming live on Enagic Web System, and we're also recording right now. So we will repost it sometime, okay?
Thank you very, very much, because this is so interesting, because I have the wrong CPA helping me. First, I have never received any tax write-off on even my 3 machines or whatever, I have the shower, what do you call it? The Anespa, and I have the K8 and the SD501, and I have Yukon. I've never seen it written off. And so I know I have the wrong tax person, and I want to know, one of my question is, how do you find the right person?
Right.
So
Well, Brenda is a 6A herself, so she's with Enagic, and that's why she wrote this, and it's approved. What also people forget is anytime you open a position, like you just said, you have 3 positions, it's a new business. And here it's written for any new machine that you buy, it's a new business. You get tax write-off, first of all, the cost of the machine, and for startup cost, another $5,000. So off the bat, you guys, you're getting $10,000. 5,000,
Wow.
of course, it's cost. You have to itemize it, but that's why your tax preparer is important, because they don't know those things. If push comes to shove, contact Brenda. I've sent so many people to her who said, oh, they didn't remove it last year, and she did an addendum and they got all their money back. Brenda Escorpizo, 6A.
Can you spell her last name, please?
How do I, how to get,
I
how
will
do I
put
get
it
a
on
hold of
the
her?
chat. She's on Facebook.
Thank you.
I'll put it on chat. You're very welcome.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
All right. So back to you, Sharon.
So we have Darryl, right, coming on next with Enagic Web System. So welcome, Darryl. Thank you so much for joining us. We know you're a busy guy, but we're really excited to hear what you have to share with us today.
Hi, I'm happy to be here, and I'm glad to share whatever information you guys want to know. I'm a wealth of information, so have at me, and I'll answer every question you have.
Okay, this is where I come in, you guys. And Darryl, please feel free to stop me, because I can get very, very passionate about this. I have a little bit of a PPT that I did, and it should be open by now. Where is it? Where is it? So I'll start it, and I'll just go one by one, right?
Okay, sure.
Because these are the, and Darryl's co-founder and development director of Enagic Web System, okay? And a lot of the questions we have received so far is a deceptive recruitment, and there are many situations that has happened in our Enagic world with our distributors, right? A lot of scam going out there, and for new people especially, even us who've been in the business for a while, we get confused because we think it's legitimate, like websites, and then we find out it's not, and so on and so forth. And there are many other groups that have kind of targeted our Enagic people, and it's very disconcerting, and we don't know how to deal with it properly. Maybe you guys can help us. So let me show you a few slides, and I'll go quick at one point, but I think you will know what I'm talking about. How to spot scammers, Ponzi schemes, pyramid recruiting, sales funnel systems, those websites. And I know that's a whole 20 hours to speak about that, but I know you'll know what to say. So I got this from Enagic Web System, branding innovations, and you spoke about this, so please help us understand that. Then there's this group of people here who've been scamming a lot of our Enagic distributors. Then we have this funnel system that when I watched it for the first time, I said, there's nothing wrong with that, until several key places revealed to me that they're really keeping what the business is all about, what the company is all about, and then later on you find out it's Enagic. But from the get-go, it's all a secret. So I'll go really fast. You see them using this kind of advert, 30-day money back guarantee, which is also another false statement, because we have people who have gone through this, wanted to return, and they said, no, you can't, right? And then they promised 5,000 sale, over $1 million in just the first month. Hello, where do you do that, right? And then, of course, many other things that they claim, and they make pressure, they do everything for you. And then the pressure is on. They charge you anywhere from $99 to $149, right? And before you know it, they want to, when you pay that, they want you to buy the trifecta. Then you find out it's Enagic they're pitching, but they're not saying it from the get-go. And so it's like, okay, what happened there? It happened to me. One of my relatives got into this, and she was already a 3A, and she regrets having gone this route, of course. So anyway, I blanked out. Then you become an Enagic distributor under them, under the guise of, right? So there you go. That's what it is. So, okay, I'll stop the share. You know what we're trying to do here, and please help us.
Well, this really is kind of an unfortunate side effect of our industry, really. It's really kind of the reason why Eric and I got into the business to begin with. Eric, my brother and co-founder, is because we watched our dad kind of get run through the ringer of the MLM industry, where he had some successes and he was selling product at first, and that was kind of how he got his start into a business. And then later, some people came along and told him, sold him money, essentially. You're not selling product anymore. You're selling luxury and lifestyle and money and riches. And when you get too far down that line, you're no longer actually, promoting a product to sell. You're actually selling the concept of getting rich, which is exactly what the FTC is against. And that's what a lot of big brands have gotten in trouble for, is exactly this kind of problem. We watched our dad lose everything that he had to these kinds of scammers. And watching him get wrecked, I was actually just a generalized technician, internet technician, web developer, and programmer. And when I saw that happen to him, I decided to do an investigation on the internet to find out what really went on. And as I dove into it, what we really found was that there was an industry out there of people-to-people business and people-to-people selling and whatnot. And what we found is that's not the problem. We thought it was all multi-level problem. We thought it was all, the direct sales industry. We thought this was actually the issue, but it wasn't. There actually is a subset of this industry of people who have, I don't know if they just don't have any scruples. I don't know if they're straight con artists, or if they really made themselves believe that this is okay to do to people. But it's just a subset of the industry, and they can be involved in any kind of a business. And they usually jump from business to business. Once they get in trouble, they get knocked out and they move on to the next. So after seeing that, Eric and I really kind of fell in love with the direct sales industry and the multi-level marketing. We thought this is really something that people should be doing. People should be buying from people. You know, people should be buying everything from people around them, from their families, from their friends. Why are we giving all of this wealth to the Amazons and the Walmarts? I don't understand it. So it really kind of like birthed a big passion in us that say, okay, well, this industry just needs help to get set off in that right direction. So that's kind of what got us into this industry and eventually led us forward to Enagic. And for many, many years, Enagic, we really enjoyed a very beautiful culture. And Esther really laid it out perfectly. That is the culture of Enagic. That is what it is to be a true Enagic distributor. We enjoyed that for quite some time. It was over a decade that was gone unhindered. And then some of these groups started coming in. Some of their previous scams were getting knocked out and the company shut down. So they started moving in. And that's kind of what we're seeing right now out there are these people who are bringing that same, it's the same game. They call it new, but it's the same game that I've seen for decades in the world, not even just in this industry, it's all over. But it's the art of selling people the idea that, look at me, I'm rich. Even if I'm not, I'm going to make you think I am. And I'm going to make you rich. All you got to do is give me all the money that I asked for. So it's pretty easy to sell somebody on $15,000, which you would think, well, that's really hard to sell somebody, but it's actually easy when you're selling them $1 million. So that's really the con. You're selling them $1 million just for 15,000, and they go, okay, I'll find 15,000 somewhere. And then they get in and they realize, okay, well, you said it was fully automated, and it's not. And what you want me to spend thousands of more dollars on advertising into this system that you have that I don't really understand, and then you want me to give sales to other people, and it all starts just kind of like crumbling down after you get involved and realize that you've been hoodwinked. And some people don't realize that, and some people go forward with it, and some people just I don't know, they buy into the hype, and they figure if I could sell that hype, then I can do it too, like they are. And these are, I mean, good people do bad things sometimes. These aren't bad people all the time. There's good people there too, but they're believing what's happening there. They think it's okay to sell somebody $1 million without ever having any intention of depositing that into their bank account. So that's kind of where we've always drawn the line here. And that's why Enagic Web System is still the only approved marketing system for Enagic. You can find that at enagic.com/policies, as the policies and procedures, and section 9 describes it very well. And Enagic has to do that. They have to protect themselves from people that just go off in the right field and do whatever. And that's the unfortunate case. So there's, I've talked with a lot of unfortunate families that have been kind of wrecked by these groups. And I'm glad they find their way to me because I can help guide them down a better path. They're not, their investment was not lost. So I always encourage them to learn about the product first because they usually don't even know what they bought. Get involved with the product and really discover it, and you'll find out you have some real value there, because that's what's beautiful about Enagic is the product has real solid value, insane value. And so that's what we encourage first, learn about the product, and then you still have your business, so you might not be able to do it their way because you realize that it's not good for you or others, but you still have your business, and there is a good way to do it. So that's what EWS always focuses on, is always providing that kind of that higher bar level. Sure, it's hard to sell a $5,000 product, let alone a $15,000 package. But as Esther said, you're not out there trying to make the sale. You're out there on a mission to change lives. You're out there in a service capacity. And with that passion, that's what people feel. That's what relates to people. And that's what interests people. None of us like being sold to. We all got ad blockers all the time, and nobody likes being sold to anymore. So, you know, people learning the right way to do this, I always say, understand product first, opportunity second. Always take that approach, product first, opportunity second. There's nothing wrong with the opportunity. It's amazing. It's beautiful and wonderful. But always keep your focus on the product first. And those groups that you're talking about there, they avoid the product entirely. They avoid the brand entirely. It's not even in the realm. And as far as I understand it, they're doing that just to kind of skirt around the boundaries of what is compliance. So it's a very unfortunate thing. But, you know, I always, you know, I send my prayers out to anyone that are getting involved, and I hope that it works out okay for them. I never wish any ill upon anyone, but it is somewhat of a scourge of the industry, and we all have to be very mindful, knowing what is the difference between the pyramid and a Ponzi and a legitimate business. And a lot of people don't know. Well, they say, well, it's shaped like a pyramid. It's a pyramid scheme. And that's not exactly true, because your government's shaped like a pyramid. And okay, maybe it's a pyramid scheme, but I don't know how to put that out, but every corporation is shaped like a pyramid too. So it doesn't mean everything's a pyramid scheme, but the real definition of a pyramid scheme is that when you're selling a product, that the product doesn't matter. So if the product is inconsequential, nobody really wants it. It's not really, it's an inconsequential thing. When you're making sales in that fashion, you're turning what could be a legitimate business into a pyramid scheme, because now you're just selling money. And that always ends up in a space where there's a whole lot of people that lose and only the top win. It always works that way because you're not selling something of value. Unlike what Enagic really is, you are sharing something of value with people. And when they buy it, they're getting the value of the product. That's what they bought. And then it just so happens there's an amazing opportunity attached to it as well. That's a completely different approach. That's exactly what government regulation agencies like the FTC want us to do. They want us to be focused like that. And that's what Oshiro has said, you know, with the vision of share the water, share the water. So understanding that key difference between a pyramid and a legitimate business, and then a Ponzi is a little bit different, where there actually is no product at all, or it's a make-believe product. There is nothing there, and they're just, you know, saying, hey, give me 5,000 and I'll give you 15,000 back. That's a Ponzi. So knowing those differences helps a person know how to spot these when they do see them. And the bottom line is, you know, if you see somebody trying to tell you that you can be rich just like me, all you got to do is, it's easy, it's all automated. Come on, common sense will tell you, if there was an automated way to generate that kind of success, I think the world would have a whole lot less suffering in it, you know, because I would have automated it and given it away to everybody, because I like the whole world to be much happier, you know. So if there's an automated way to that kind of great success, then the world would be a much better place. But it's not automated. Success does take work. But the interesting thing about that is, even though as success takes real work, it can produce real results, real long-lasting results. And when you're passionate about what you do, it doesn't really feel like work anymore. You know, you're working hard, but you're passionate, and it doesn't feel like work. And that is the key. If you go through a list of all of these famous people in the world, the most successful people in the world, they'll all tell you some sort of quote similar to that every bit of success takes hard work. But if you don't love what you do, it's just stress. So you gotta love what you do. And that's why I love Enagic, and I love working with all of you people, because we really love what we do, and we really love the vision. We really love the mission, and that makes all the difference in the world. So don't just chase down the money all the time. Don't go from one pyramid or Ponzi to another. They're not worth it. Build a business of vision, mission, and passion. That's what will make it work. Are you talking?
Amen.
I think you're muted.
Thank you,
Tommy.
Darryl.
So yeah, vision, mission, and passion. I love that. We do have a question from Kim, and Kim, whenever you're ready, you can pose it to Darryl. I do want to say though that what would be your advice? I have had so far 3 people whom I've helped get out of that Ponzi scheme that I did mention, and one of them, when she tried to get out of there, she was locked out completely, but yet they were still continuing to market and using her name. So how does one protect from that? Because unbeknownst to you, you know, you're still being marketed out there, but you have nothing to do with them anymore, right? So what can be done about it? That's one question. And number 2, for those who have been able to get out, is there a chance for them to revive their distributorship with Enagic? Because of course we know it's Enagic they're pitching. They're just not allowed to say it publicly. They can't even post it on their Facebook. They cannot mention the name of Enagic, but yet they're selling that, like you say, you know, that idea in the background. It's Enagic. So it's a totally deceitful way of recruiting people when you can't tell directly they're actually pitching Enagic and the products, right? So I have another one in Scotland who approached me and said, you know, how do I get out of this? So what would be your advice? What's the next step for them?
Well, it's unfortunate because once you buy in, you end up locking in your position, and if you continue, you can always just shift gears, do things the right way, and continue. But it doesn't really feel good knowing that the people who scammed you are the ones that are making commission, and you don't have that upline support. So you know, Enagic has their options. You know, you have to cancel your distributorship, wait an X amount of time, and then you can, you know, come back in. It's not great options, but it is a possibility. And what's nice about it too is even if you decide to go that route, you decide to cancel and then come back in with a team that's more in alignment to you. That doesn't mean you can't be building your business, right? So you can still be setting up your brand. You could still, like on that old ID that you had, you can get registered with EWS and start setting up your whole brand and getting prepared and start building your marketing and your SEO for when you're ready to rejoin. And then you just add the additional number to your back office once you rejoin and you're ready to go. So there are options for those people. As far as, I have also talked to people who got booted out from the system, and then the system continued to do the marketing while somebody else was handling the leads, but they still marketed in their name. Unfortunately, there's not, I mean, unless you have the ability to, you know, throw a lawsuit out, because they're not allowed to be using your name like that, of course. There's not a whole lot that can be done. If I was doing it, I would probably attack their host. So I would find out who's hosting their website, and I would go that route and say, hey, these people are using my name illegally. I'm not involved with them anymore, but they're still using my name. You can go routes like that, and hosting companies do kind of take those things into consideration. You can maybe even file a DMCA. You know, maybe like your name is copyrighted. So if you're copywriting your name as part of your business, then you can file a Digital Millennium Copyright Act infringement notice to the hosting company, and they have to remove your name from everything or get shut down. So there are a few ways without going through the effort of a lawyer to try to get backed out of those systems and stop them from using that stuff. But in the end, I don't know what their, you know, various systems, I don't know what their policies are, what the terms of service are, if they even have them. But read the terms of service if they are there, because if the company is taking ownership of all of your leads, well, you signed the terms of service when you signed up, so it's not much you can do but to get those back. But there's just a few things you can do. You can always write the path, though.
This is fantastic, Darryl. And I just wanted to make a comment of, it can be challenging for those of us, we're trying to do things ethically in the right way. And I can't tell you like how many groups I've been exposed to that, I mean, they're making like this killing, selling basically the fantasy or whatnot. And then a lot of the people that joined, they give the 10,000, 15,000 or whatever. And then they'll see like one of my educational videos and they'll reach out to me because they say that they don't even know how to use the machine or what the machine does. And so I want people to not be afraid to talk about the business, because all the top leaders will say 50% of people will first be drawn by the product, but another 50% are business minded, and that's just their personality. And that's what will first draw them in. But they have to understand our product and be passionate about the product. But for me, I don't want to work with anybody that's just coming in for the money. If they're not passionate and have 100% belief in this product to change lives, then that's not, my kind of people. So I just wanted to kind of clarify, because I don't want people to be afraid to talk about the business. But I mean, these are really pure out Ponzi schemes. And I think it frustrates all of us because we watch it happening. And, I know that, Darryl, I know you guys are, working hard to try to educate people. And we really do appreciate all that you've done and all the systems that you've created for us. So thank you.
Yeah, it's a very important point. The business is amazing with Enagic. There's nothing wrong with it, but the way some people promote it, that's where it starts getting wrong. So it's all in your approach to it, for sure.
I'm so grateful that we're having this conversation now, because for a couple of years now, I'm actually originally started for my Karen community in the USA. And for a couple of years, one of my business partner and I started realizing that a lot of our community people are joining somewhere else. Not that we were like selfish, but we're just like, what's going on? How come they're asking questions like that are, basic? How come they didn't know? So we started asking our other downlines and business partner, and they're just like, oh, don't you know? Did you guys change to an online product? We're like, yeah, we're an online product. But for my community, I mean, you're talking about not making money. I'm working with refugee resettlement people, and I'm still abundantly blessed, and I'm still having the independent freedom lifestyle. So y'all talking about not making money. I'm just letting you know that the demographic I'm working with, 99% of my customers, prospect, and business partners are all from Burma, who are resettlement refugees in different countries. So we are now most affected a lot because we don't even know English language properly. I don't even know the English language properly, but because I have many guidance like you guys and to Cami especially, and Cynthia and Romy to watch me and like guide me in the Enagic world and industry as well, that I'm able to, share it back with my Korean community. But let me tell you, a lot of them put down 10,000, 10,000, 10,000. They're persuaded in for a trifecta. And then a couple of years later, they're like, Namile, they call me Namile. How come we're not making money? I'm like, what? Yeah, you told us we joined so-and-so, and they said that, we're gonna make money. And because you're always talking about water, we're assuming we're under your team. No, I mean, yeah, you gotta talk about it. You can't just make money because you join, there's ways. And so a lot of our Korean people are now have no idea. They just join because they're like, oh, we don't have to sell. Okay. We just pay you a member fee. Okay. Oh, we don't have to do a website. You're going to do everything for us. Okay. We'll just put, and then they get to a dead end where they have no idea how to even hook up their machine or how to even push the buttons because none of it's in our language. I'm not saying our culture is dumb, but we're very new to America. So we're still learning the English and we can get by. We're a lot of us are becoming independent. But the point is that having these middle people, funnels, and programs, it's not about putting them down, but it like Darryl was saying that you're not selling a product anymore. You're selling money and you're scamming people by telling them, come join me, come join me. All you gotta do is tell people to join, but not really giving them the idea of the compassion and the passion. So a lot of my customers are my culture, but let me tell you, a lot of them don't like me because I'm always telling them, don't be stupid. Don't be stupid. Ask question. I didn't graduate college, but I still can do research and ask question. And you're gonna buy a product that's really good, but if you can't even tell your product and show your product, what are you trying to sell? But But then the refugee resettlement, like they're so persuaded by this money, because we've been so oppressed with no money, right? We had to flee our country and we come to a new country, and now there's this. So we're like the bottom feeders right now, because before we can even start scratching the surface to do the research that we've been scammed, oh, that guy up there that already scammed us already got like $5 million homes. You see what I mean? So every day I'm like going Facebook Live, Instagram Live, telling, not because I'm selfish or just saying, oh, Enagic. I try to let them think like reality, like like consciously. You're gonna buy a product that's gonna be like telling you can make money, you don't have to sell anything, you can't even say the name, or you're gonna support your brothers and sisters in your family who already have the product. They might not understand everything, but learn it together,
Mm-hmm.
So I'm so grateful that I get to be on Zoom with you guys today and have this conversation, because I'd like to have different advice and avenue how we can come to solve this besides just being more exposed.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Yeah, I have current situation with one of the people I have helped, Darryl. So this person moved to another person, right? They gave their resigned from that distributorship because they want to do the right thing. In fact, this person spoke with you, and that's where she got the idea of doing it this way. So she signed up with another person. However, the item she bought under that distributorship, her K8, of course, is not credited to her new account now. So that's one K8. Now, there are many people who have done the trifecta, 10,000 grand or more, and they can bring all that to their new distributorship when they want to do the right thing because they were conned, of course, right? So it almost seems like they're penalized twice. So what can Enagic do about this? Or what is Enagic even aware about these things? Or if they are, what's the steps being taken? I know I'm posing these hard questions right now, but since we're on the topic, might as well, right?
Well, it does. There is a compliance department with Enagic, and if the problem is whether or not a person has collected enough evidence to show that they were scammed. If they have evidence of non-compliant marketing, for example, so non-compliant marketing is what brought you in, and you got dragged into the company under this person, and it was non-compliant marketing, and they were lying. If you can provide that evidence, not just, hey, I'm saying that they did this, but you need to provide actual evidence, then compliance department could probably research that and deal with it. I can't speak for Enagic on what they would do to resolve such a situation. I know that plenty of non-compliant people, found non-compliant, end up being either suspended or terminated. It does happen pretty frequently. So the compliance department is highly active and they are doing their work. But it comes down to whether or not that person has the evidence. Do they have the hard evidence? Do they have the emails? Do they have the messenger messages, stuff like that? So if you can prove that to compliance, maybe you can convince Enagic to move you after that person gets terminated, perhaps. I'm not really sure. But that's probably the avenue I would take is gather my evidence and make my case as strong as I can to the compliance department. And the case is not, I want a refund. The case is, I just need to move. I need to move what I have here to a team that's doing it right.
Yeah. So it's compliance department we have to go to, right?
Yeah, they'll be the ones that do any kind of the investigation. Anybody else, they probably won't even understand much of what you're trying to say, because they're out there. Enagic is doing their work. They're shipping machines, they're taking care of service, they're taking care of commissions. Most of the people there aren't aware of what's happening out in the field. And so if you go to them, like a salesperson or something, and try to tell them what happened, it's the wrong place. I would email compliance@enagic.com to a very detailed and organized report and see what you can move in that direction.
Right. Will it help to report these people to FTC?
I definitely would. I have before when I've dealt with companies that were less than scrupulous. I've made reports. I've even done it just recently with a company, a resort here in Costa Rica, who was scamming people out of their resort fees. So I always fight everything, because the way I see it is, I want a world full of good people, everybody doing good. And if you let the people who are doing wrong get away with it, it's almost like contributing to the problem, So I fight almost 10 times as hard to deal with somebody that has been doing something wrong. If they wrong me, I'll fight 10 times as hard to deal with that. So I would, if you're getting scammed, and understand the FTC does take issue with that. They do not want people selling money. That's why it says it in Enagic's policies and procedures. You can't just go out there and start selling lifestyle and opportunity money. It's in the policies. The reason was because it's against the law in most countries. So you show the evidence of that, send it into the FTC. It's not that hard of a process, or whatever government agency that is nearby you. Every country has something similar. They usually have a website. You go to the website, you fill out a form, you upload the evidence, and that gets processed as a case file. It is especially useful if many people do it, because the cases will start setting off flags at the FTC, and maybe they will do something. They've done things in the past. The settlements I've heard of, like $200 million settlement from that Herbalife had to pay out because it had a huge section of distributors that were doing something very similar. So FTC does pursue these things, and I would always report personally.
Right. So what can we do as existing distributors who are doing it the right way, the mission of Enagic? What can we do to stop this? Is there any possibility of stopping this? I mean, we're talking of people who are in Enagic distributorship too. These are the ones at the helm, and so they're generating all these sales, and they're the ones moving up the ladder, dash whatever, right? And they seem to be very successful because there's more they market their scheme, the more they're getting people who are very tempted about the laptop lifestyle and no longer espousing the mission and the vision and mission of Enagic of relational business, one-on-one. They're just left hanging afterwards. So it sounds like it's a dead end for us at this point until we do the reporting and pounding on doors, pretty much, right?
Well, I would never call anything a dead end, but I know what you mean. There's not a whole lot we can do, but the people who have been wronged, they have to be encouraged to report, to stop it from happening more. I know a few families that have, father that's just starting off trying to support his family. He thinks, wow, this is amazing. I'm going to do it for my family, especially since COVID. I need to be able to do this. And he gets taken. He's in now a huge debt, and he's trying to figure out a way out of his mess. He's got to report that. He's got to stop that from happening to another family. So that's the best we can do, is offer that, and then also keep our minds in the right place. There's always going to be scammers in the world, all over the place, and they're going to be around us, or they're going to be away from us. There's scams everywhere. And as an IT guy, I work with servers. I'm seeing the hacking and the scamming hitting the servers all day long. It's like a constant fight. There's always that going on in the world. So, I would just encourage people, if you get taken by these people, do your duty, make a report, and then move onwards and upwards, and learn the right way and do the right way. Let them be them. God has a way of working things out. It's in God's hands ultimately. And just kind of let them be what they are, and you just go on your own path. That's the best advice I could give to anyone.
Yeah, it boils down to value systems, no? Individual convictions and value systems, I guess, no? Not to scam the other person right there who wants to make some good living. Yeah. Yeah, again, that's where it ends up with, I think, for me.
Yeah.
Integrity.
Yeah.
Yeah, and thank God we have many distributors in Enagic who are still standing upright and doing the right thing. That still, encourages me, because one of the people who have been scammed, and she was already a 3A, and now she wants to come back to the same position, right? Was very downcast, of course, no? Because she was promised so much, and unluckily she believed it, and now she's lost her whole team pretty much, no? That was there before. Yeah. But
it is
yeah,
unfortunate.
there are people like you we can ask questions from, and hopefully there's going to be more. Hello?